When I picked up the phone, I noticed the image on the home screen. It was of the camel rider with the falcon on his shoulder, bursting into flames. I recognized the voice on the other end, but I was still rather unsettled. It was Orit Halpern. I was one of her many field researchers, collecting images for her. She asked me how it was going and if I'd be sending her materials soon. She had developed the Lodestar app MirrorWorld and wanted to fill in some of the pieces to her new virtual Luxor with some actual footage. The Luxor would include the Great Pyramid of Giza, even though there are no pyramids in Luxor. As she spoke, I went back inside, my son enjoying music with his headphones on, looking at his small screen. I went to my luggage and there saw the augmented reality goggles she had given me before my trip. I knew I had packed them, but just wanted to be sure. She went on talking. Someday soon, every place and thing in the real world, every street, lamppost, building, and row, will have its full-size digital twin in the MirrorWorld. For now, only tiny patches of the MirrorWorld are visible through AR headsets. Piece by piece, these virtual fragments are being stitched together to form a shared, persistent place that will parallel the real world. She reminded me of the familiar story by author Jorge Luis Borges, where he imagined a map exactly the same size as the territory it represented. In time, Borges wrote, the Cartographers Guild struck a map of the empire whose size was that of the empire, and which coincided point for point with it. We are now building such a one-to-one map of almost unimaginable scope, and this world will become the next great digital platform. I have been watching your trip, she says, reminding me that we were location sharing. I have a computer with a set of 3 linked monitors, and I open up Google Earth to your location to see how you are doing and moving through space. Everyone does it quite differently. You seem to have gotten quite lost this afternoon outside the Sphinx. This threw me a bit, bringing my day back to me, wondering what she saw, what I felt, what I was thinking, what she is seeing, the seeing I am seeing. We then started talking about placeness. The street view images in Google Maps are just facades, flat images hinged together. But in the mirror world, a virtual building will have volume, placeness. Back on the balcony, the noise came on like a giant swoosh. When another call came on the screen, I told Orit I had to go and switched to the 213 number, Los Angeles. The universe has sometimes these crazy synchronistic things happen. Maybe they are happening all the time, but we just can't or don't tune into them. On the other line was a lawyer, or did he say manager, introducing me to Angelina Jolie. She could not finance her film in Hollywood, but there was a Beiruti Israeli Silicon Valley company working in virtual reality that now was backing her. It was something about a film or world of ancient Luxor, environmental degradation, and Cleopatra to be shot in Cairo and Luxor. Wait, wasn't I just on the phone about that? They wanted me to fly first class to Cairo to talk about researching and shooting location footage for this $330 million world they were building. But I was already in Cairo. They asked me how the research was going, as they had been watching some of my earlier films. I was surprised they had read and saw everything, even my dreams. That was strange. And the connection had this strange latency going on, where I kept hearing Silicon Valley company, offices in Malibu. They had this new technology, jump joint, where your dreams come true. Wow. Or jump through, she said. It was to work like this. You have a scenario in your mind, usually made up of ordinary data, but in their case, also made up of dreams. They have this sophisticated electronic equipment that makes the dreams solid. Actually, they said phantasmagoric. Phantasmagoric. The words seem to stretch out like taffy with all that latency. It was as if time was bending, the vertex of the pyramid in curved space, stretching into that famous Salvador Dali painting, Something About Time. I was a deliriously vivid dreamer and dreamt in vibrant and very sharp colors. The part I didn't know was how they were peeping my dreams, and knew I was dreaming of the ancient Egyptians and that I was in a hotel on the Nile. Fox time comes on, and we are soon on the back lot out on the edge of the San Fernando Desert, and there is a giant 3D projection of the Khufu Pyramid, but this one was glistening. LA is not unlike Cairo. In fact, Cairo once was the film capital of the Middle East, with its own Hollywood stars. There she is, just like in a movie, Angelina, sitting across from Greta, so charismatic, so focused and energetic. She waves hello, tells me about her sense of the film, but it's not a film, she says, it's another world, like our world, but a new world. It has these messages that are very important. I notice now, next to her is Greta Thunberg, the young Swedish climate activist. Greta, she says, is this high priestess, her advisor, telling her how to manage resources in the world. They are in a space station called Earth orbiting the sun, but the mission is stalled because the skeleton crew of 8 billion have fallen into emotional crises and victim to this virus. I, of all people, am to travel to the station in order to evaluate the situation. They would be in touch, they said, and waved goodbye. Angelina gets very passionate now. She asks rhetorically, "What is real courage?" She pauses very dramatically. You could tell she was a professional. She looks to Greta. In disclosing and exposing oneself. Oh, okay, I think. She says, Greta, drawing attention to her fear, holding it in her gaze, in her entire body, kind of like the Sphinx, makes us see in ourselves the pushing off of our fear, the planet's fear, the putting it away as if it could be put away to be thought about another time. Greta, she says, exposes us to this insanely lived contradiction. How can we turn away from this even for a moment, the briefest moment? This knowledge, the facts, she says, of what's happening. How the whole planet is literally burning and drowning. There's nothing else but this. There is nothing to turn away from. Greta, she says, is absolutely focused on this issue and no other. There is no break from it, no pause. She is like a saint. It is very clear to her what is on the horizon, what is already here, and she stands in front of the world in absolute disbelief, in incredulity, knowing we see what she sees, but we are incapable of taking action. Action, she says, we don't need hope, we need action. But what is this action we can take? And most dramatically, she says, make this world with me, a new world of love and hope. There it was again, love. Everybody talks about it. There must be something to love and money. Never about geology and atmospheres and coral reefs. Yes, 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 I say. So wait a minute. Is this why I am with my 13-year-old son location scouting in Egypt for the film Cleopatra? While in Cairo, she says, we have arranged for you to do training with your soul contact.